We've been looking at the synthesis matrix and how you're going to fill it in for the background section. Then you can continue on thinking about possible solutions. So as I read through my articles doing the annotated bibliography, I noted down what were the solutions that these articles suggested. One solution was to pay RNs more. This article suggested that great healthcare costs money and that money should be spent where it is most needed, at the bedside, meaning pay the nurses. Notice I know which article this is from, and I put the page number where this direct quotation, exact words, is from. So I don't have to go back to the article and look at it and try to look through it and find stuff. It's all right here. This is a terrific time saver when you're trying to write your research paper, to have all of the quotations you're going to use. They're not in the order you're going to use them, but you can see them easily. You can read them easily, and they're lined up for the different parts of the paper that you're going to use. So solution one, pay RNs more. This article said compensation, though important, was not at the top of the list of demands of nurses. So that's kind of interesting. This one says paying nurses more is not really what they want. This one says RNs pay competitiveness drives down vacancies of RNs. In addition, RNs pay competitiveness also drives down vacancies of nurse assistants. So again, paying RNs more makes it easier for other healthcare workers to be hired. Solution two, a second solution that appeared in more than one article was legislate minimum ratios of nurses. This article cites a number of laws that were sent to Congress to help legislate safety standards for nursing ratios. Those have not yet passed, but they were sent to Congress. And they note that California and New York have both legislated nurse-to-patient ratios. So this has been done in some places. That's good to know. Excuse me. For solution two, again, legislate better conditions for nurses. Here in this article, Dr. Linda Aiken, a top researcher on nursing workforce issues, blames inadequate staffing on lack of government legislation. So she's very much in favor. So here's a top expert on the subject saying the government needs to say what the ratio is. In other words, the hospital administrators are trying to make money, and the nurses are pushing back saying you cannot make money and have a safe hospital environment. You need to hire more nurses than you think you're going to need, because you never know when a healthcare crisis is going to happen. So you better have some extra nurses around. Solution three is to allow nurses more say in hospital staffing policies to protect both patient safety and nurse work-life balance. And so here's a report from the National Nurses United Union. They claim methods used by hospital industry to maximize revenue are driving nurses out of the hospital. This article has several quotations that talk about the importance of allowing nurses, not hospital administrators, to say what the safe ratios of nurses to patients should be. I even like this solution, that this author encourages nurses to ask for administrators to shadow them for a day to understand the work that they actually do. Note, there are no quotation marks around this paragraph of words, but it is a paraphrase, but note that I do give the page number it's on, so you can find the exact words of the article if you want to see them. this source says this uses the metaphor of a boat sailing into a storm, and the author challenges nurses to, quote, rock the boat, to steer it in a new direction, to cast your message so that managers and administration, whether open to listening or not, hear from nurses exactly what needs to change. And this quotation, again, do you have to use all of such a long quotation? No, certainly not. But make sure that you indicate the page number that the information is on. So those are three articles that all say that hospital staffing policies should better protect nurses and should be changed if they don't. The fourth solution, there's only one article that supports the fourth solution, free or low-cost tuition. Excuse me. And, but I thought, again, I'm a professional educator, it seemed to me that having a pathway for nursing students to get through school with less debt and more support would be another way to have more nurses. So I included that, even though there's only one article that recommends it. So as you get ready to complete your matrix, you have to go back to your articles that you have saved, hopefully in a file, labeled so you can find it again. You have to have found a way to highlight relevant statistics or quotations that you can put into your matrix. And that's important that you are able to do that. So, if you have identified relevant quotations, you can figure out where on this matrix they go. And you can see what I did, where I put them. But again, it's really important that you highlight, that you figure out how to highlight in your articles so that you can find again the important statistics that you want to put in your article. Into your paper, of course. Oops. So, I'm back at week 13, the synthesis matrix. And again, here's my sample synthesis matrix. This is what you need to be doing, is creating a similar kind of matrix. All of the information that you highlighted in your various articles, where does it go? Now, background is also the place where it's likely that you would put information about, from your online articles, where you got the idea to look up this problem to begin with. And since those may actually be podcasts or websites, it may be harder to highlight them. But I think if you can save them as the text as a Word document, it will be much to your advantage. You can't put a page number on it, but it would be much to your advantage, and chances are those articles are going to be what helped you identify a problem, and you may want to include information from those articles here. We'll continue to work little by little, but right now, what I want you to focus on before the next class is to get all of your background information here. We're going to do this a bit at a time. So for now, work on getting the background information from your articles, the key statistics, evidence, explanations of the problem. Get some direct quotations with page numbers in a matrix that you create for yourself. Again, if you don't use Word and you have trouble accessing my template, it's easy enough to do it yourself. Forget about the introduction. We'll leave that till last. But you need a matrix that includes the background and various solutions saying what the solution is, so that your quotations make sense. This is a very simple way of corralling the information and putting it in an organized fashion so you can see it at a glance. This is going to speed up your ability to organize your paper if you have all of these quotations at your fingertips. Speaking of fingertips, I would like you to go ahead and take a look at the parallel structure video that I have for you. Here it is.
In a math class, you may have learned about parallel lines. Parallel lines are equally distant, side by side, and aligned. In a literature or history class, you may have heard the term parallel when comparing similar situations or people. In that context, parallel means similar or analogous, as in, her leadership style parallels the prime minister's. In other words, their leadership styles are aligned. When we talk about parallelism in writing and grammar, we also mean alignment, this time in the syntax of a sentence. Parallel structure means that phrases that have similar weight should also have the same grammatical structure. In other words, if the phrases are being used similarly in your sentence, then they should have the same grammatical form. Sentences that lack parallel structure have what English teachers call faulty parallelism, and they can be confusing or awkward. Here's an example. She likes hiking, dancing, and to swim. How would you correct the parallelism in this sentence to help it flow better? There are two ways to pull the phrases into alignment. You can either write, she likes hiking, dancing, and swimming, or she likes to hike, dance, and swim. Both are parallel. Using parallel sentence structure can give your writing balance and rhythm to help deliver your meaning clearly. Faulty parallelism, on the other hand, can be hard for readers to understand. Parallelism comes up a lot in technical and business writing because faulty parallelism is especially noticeable in bulleted lists. Ideally, all items on a list should start with the same kind of word to be parallel, whether it's on a slide presentation, in a report, or on a resume. Parallel structure helps the reader to see connections more clearly, and in a resume, it helps a hiring manager to take in your accomplishments at a glance. Here's an example of faulty parallelism that you might see on a resume. Balanced nightly till, managing inventory, customer satisfaction. You can see how this is awkward and a little confusing. How would you revise it? In this case, if the job was in the past, then all the items should start with a past tense verb. Balanced nightly till, managed inventory, ensured customer satisfaction. So far, we've focused on lists as a place to check for parallel structure, but any phrase that presents two or more items as equally important should also be parallel. This includes either or and neither nor phrases, among others. For example, you know that people either love it or they're hating it sounds awkward. People either love it or hate it is much smoother. Bringing the two halves of the sentence into alignment improves the flow of the sentence and makes it easier to understand. Parallel structure allows your readers to focus on what your words mean rather than how they're structured.
Let's take a look at this worksheet for parallel sentence structure, which is in week 13 folder. And I'm going to ask you to go through this, to all 10 of these, and try to fix them up, make them parallel. The second page has the answers. Again, there will be some sentences for you to repair on the quiz that follows, just to make sure, keep you honest that you have watched these two short videos. Thank you for watching. Please keep working on your own synthesis matrix. It will help you and save you so much time when you come to put together your research project. And I will see you on Thursday. Thanks. Don't forget to take the quiz, 5 questions that follows this video.